Hey, what's going on YouTube? This is the FBS here. Just jumping back in. I've got a little King's Fall kind of guide video. This is for actually my Discord group that I've just created for people who have never done King's Fall. If you want to join that Discord, check the link in the description. I will be doing Sherpas every Saturday morning starting around 9ish. I like to look for people around 8 to 8:30, so check the Discord, get in there, make sure you put your name in, put your Bungie ID so that I can actually look you up, make sure all your stats are good, because I want to make sure the people with 0 clears definitely get in before people try and sneak in with like 5 or 6 or something like that. And without further ado, let's get into the raid. So this is basically the opening encounter of the raid. You're gonna take these two relics here actually. Once you pick them up, there's gonna be a taken wall that spawns right here on this door. You need to destroy that so that the 2 relic holders or runners, they can go and dunk the relics on these statues. There are 6 statues, and you're gonna have to go to each side. There's gonna be 5 more relics, obviously. Here's the first relic. We're on the left side. He's gonna grab that, and he's gonna run back to the mid, and he's gonna bank it. Every time you pick up a relic, these taken walls will spawn. So you need to destroy them as quickly as possible so that the runner can make it back to the middle and deposit their relic. Now, the second relic on the left side is right there in that bottom left corner. I had to slow it down because in the actual recording, I was not going over there. I was just running around doing a bunch of random stuff. But that's where the second one is. And as you keep going throughout the relics, you're just going to go further and further within those rooms. Also, your people who are running, they're going to have bodyguards. The bodyguards are there to keep them alive and also shoot the doors down for them like so, because the people with the relics, they can't shoot the doors and they also can't shoot the enemies. If they were to dodge or try and change weapons, they would drop the relic and they would have to go back and pick it up. Now, for my runners, whenever you actually have the relic in hand, the fastest way to actually run with it is to just jump and melee. You keep doing that over and over so that you can actually get to the statue close to the time that the other person gets there. Because if they get there way too far ahead of you and the time runs out, then the relics will just reset, which it's okay if they reset, because you don't wipe this encounter and you don't start completely over. You just go back to the last relic that you had. And if you guys get there kind of close to each other, but the second guy is lagging behind just a little bit, what you can do is have the first person wait, and whenever the timer gets down to 1 second, they can dunk it, and it'll add 3 more seconds, and hopefully the second person can make it with that extended time, and that should be able to work out for you. Once you get through that encounter, you're just going to kill these enemies here, and once you kill all of them, there's going to be a portal that spawns above the stairs. What we're actually going to do is go under the stairs, because these are 3 symbols that you need to shoot throughout the raid in order to get the free guaranteed red border drop at the end of the raid. And I've also got an image up that shows all 9 locations. So you're just going to match the images on screen along with the images that are under that stairway. And so now we're going to make our way through the jumping puzzle. Make sure you get your jumping shoes on, whatever it takes for you to get your mobility up, be a little bit quicker, jump a little bit further. Also, here is symbol number 1. So you jump on the pendulum and it's right there. And the way the symbols work is you just shoot them, which I missed the first time. You shoot it and it shows up, and that's the one we need. So I'm going to keep it up. If you accidentally shoot one that you don't need, you can just shoot it again and the symbol will disappear. And now we're just going to make our way to the next jumping puzzle, which will be the ships. So we're just going to follow this pathway here. Feel free to skip ahead if you already know where you're going. So since everyone else went ahead while I was getting the symbols, we're just going to wait here for the next ship to spawn. Then we jump on it. And you're just going to ride this ship. You're going to jump on every ship that I jump on. There's going to be a certain point where I jump off, which is going to be a checkpoint. That way, if you happen to miss a jump later on, you don't spawn all the way up here, but you spawn at that checkpoint. So this is the checkpoint here. You don't have to stay here long. You just want to make sure you jump up here. As soon as you get up here, the next ship should be spawning, and you just jump on that and you continue on. Now, once you're on this ship, make sure you kind of stand towards the back because the next one that's coming by, it can knock you off. A lot of people tend to jump on that one. Make sure you dunk under it, just like you see me doing here. Then you jump on the next one. Don't jump on that first one because it is not the right ship. So once you finish that jumping puzzle, you're just going to jump up here, and there's going to be 2 plates. You have to have one person stand on each plate so that the door actually opens up, so that whenever people jump on that ship there, they can actually get through. If no one's standing on the plates, then they'll get up there to the door and they'll just get knocked off. But there's actually a secret chest up there if you jump to the left of that door, which I'm going to show you right now. So for this secret chest, you're just going to ride the ship over, then you're going to jump off to the left, where you see the little, I guess, kind of like tusk jutted out there. So you're going to ride over, jump off to the left, follow this path that I'm taking right now. Once you're on this wall here and you're kind of scaling the wall, it would help if you kind of look towards the wall so that those like spikes don't knock you off. Jump up there. That is symbol number 2. And now we're on to Totems encounter. This is encounter 1 of the 2 that I believe will be the ones that actually give you trouble. So the way Totems works, it's kind of like a relay race. So you're going to start off with the brand. There's one on the left and one on the right. You grab this brand here, and you're going to want to go and stand under this totem. While you're under the totem and you have branded the Unraveler, you're just going to get kills, and every kill that you get is going to give you a Death Singer's power. I think the regular Scions and Thrall, they give you +1, and the Minotaurs and the Knights on the other side, they give you +3. So you're just going to be slaying out these ads, watching your timer. Hopefully the people up front are doing their job, which I'll explain in a second, and they can come down and steal the brand from you before you get to 0. So he just stole the brand from me. So what I do now is I take my Death Singer's power, and I go to the middle, and I stand on this middle plate here, and I just deposit it. So once you've actually deposited all of your Death Singer's power, which was quick for me because I only had 4, you're just going to jump up here, and while you're up here killing this Solar Wizard and taking Knight that's about to spawn, there should be someone else on the plate, and they're just collecting Death Singer power for themselves. You need to have something a lot quicker to kill this Knight. I'm not sure why I was messing around with this pulse rifle. Usually I use a fusion or something, but you kill it as quickly as you can. Finishers also take too much time. I don't know what I was doing. Once you kill it, you pick up that brand claimer, and you need to go and steal it from the guy who's on the plate before their timer hits 0. So what happened here, his timer hit 0. Now instead of actually picking him up, I go back and pick up that first brand, because you want to keep a brand on that plate as much as possible. So you immediately turn around, you get the brand, get back on the plate before it wipes, then you get the rest. Now the rotation's a little bit messed up, but that's okay. You just keep going back and forth, and you should be able to complete it. So while everybody's going back and forth, depositing their Death Singer's power, there's going to be Unstoppables that spawn. You want to make sure that they actually finish their spawning animation before you stun them, because if not, they can kind of bug out a little bit and take forever to stun the next time. And they spawn at like 30 and 60%. So that's basically all for this encounter. You just rinse and repeat until the War Priest deems you worthy. Also, here is symbol number 3. So we're just going to shoot that, then we're going to turn it off because we do not need it. Now for the War Priest encounter. It's a little different. The only things that are kind of the same is going to be like how you steal the brand. And also, this is where we'll be doing DPS from because we have an actual boss in this encounter. So you actually start the encounter by having 3 people stand on the plates all at once. That'll start the encounter. And basically, you just go through and you slay adds until these 3 knights spawn. This is one right here. There's going to be one that spawns middle, left, and right. Once you kill all 3 knights, it's going to say that the glyph reading sequence has started. So the way that the glyph reading sequence works is the middle person, they're going to stand on their plate and they're going to look to see which totem has a glowing white rock on the back of it. If you don't see one glowing, then that means yours has the glowing white rock. So you're going to step off and you're going to get back on and you're going to read and see which one is glowing now. You tell everybody which plate to go to. The second person they get on, then they tell the third person. The third person is always going to have the brand of the initiate, which is that red aura that's around me now. In order to do DPS, everyone needs to be standing within that red bubble. So obviously we wiped here, and that's because nobody stayed behind to kill the knight, which actually extends the damage phase. And the way you know where the knights are going to spawn is wherever the third person was in the reading sequence, the other 2 plates, that's where the knights spawn. So if it's middle, there's going to be a knight that spawns on left and right. One knight's going to spawn first. You need to kill that knight immediately. You pick up the brand claimer just like you did in totems. You go up to the person with the brand of the initiate and you wait for their countdown. When they get to like 3 seconds, you want to steal it from them. Here's a knight spawning here on right, so that person's going to take care of that. They're going to kill that knight. They're going to jump up while the other guy's doing their countdown. You get to about 3 seconds. You steal it. The second person who's on the other plate, they're going to be killing their knight. They're going to get all the way back to you guys. Wait for that time to get down to about 3 seconds. Then they're going to steal it. And then you want that third person to make sure they're doing their countdown, because once theirs gets to 0, he's going to do his wipe mechanic where he calls upon the Oculus. And you want to make sure that all of you are standing behind one of the 3 pillars. And preferably you're all going to be standing behind the same one, because the pillars can protect you. But if you're hiding behind 2 pillars, then both pillars will be destroyed. They can only protect you once. So make sure you're all behind the pillars. If people happen to die like that just outside of the pillar, make sure you don't res them until the white mechanic is over. Otherwise, they'll just die immediately again, and you're going to be wasting some of your revives. And that's pretty much all there is to this encounter. If your DPS is kind of lacking, I like to do the first 2 phases top right on the stage. That third one can be top left. That way you can make it behind the pillar on the left. And hopefully after that, he's low enough to just finish him off. And that's the end of the encounter. The 4th symbol is also in this room. I forgot to go and capture it, but when we're actually in here, I'll definitely take you up there so you can see it. I'll make sure you know where everything is. Now we're on our way to Golgoroth, but first we have to go through Golgoroth's maze. Now in the maze, there's a secret chest, and I'm just going to put the map of the maze up here because there's 5 plates that you need to stand on. And you need to stand on them in order, so 1, 2, 3, 4, then 5. Once all 5 people are on, it'll say that a chest has appeared. You're just going to go to that chest, open it up. Then you're going to make your way out, and you're going to get ready for the Golgoroth encounter. Also, just before leaving Golgoroth's maze, before you get to the actual Golgoroth encounter, there's this last pit right here. That is where symbol number 5 is in, so you're going to jump over it. You turn around and you'll see it. And here is symbol number 6. As soon as you get into the Golgoroth encounter, you just go down, make that left right there, and it's down there. So you start the Golgoroth encounter by shooting his orb in the middle. Once everybody destroys that, he spawns in the middle. And then you just kill ads. You're going to be slaying out ads. I like to have 3 people on each side. You just keep killing these ads until these yellow bar, not knights, but wizards spawn towards the back, and they are called blistered wizards. So once they spawn, you kill both of them, and then you have everybody go to the front for DPS. So the way that DPS works is you're going to have 4 people who are actually doing DPS and 2 people who are on gaze. So in this clip, I'm actually on the gaze team. So when it's time for gaze, what we do is we kill the knights that spawn here so that they're not messing with us. The other 4 people should be towards the front destroying that orb because they need to shoot that orb and stand in the pool that it drops in order to actually do DPS to Golgoroth. And in order to do DPS, not only do they need to be standing in the pool from the orb that they destroyed, they also need to be shooting him in the stomach, which is why we take the gaze and then we get behind the DPS team. That way Golgoroth is facing us and therefore facing them, and we can shoot his stomach. You can also shoot his stomach from back there, but you want to be focused on the accident darts that he's shooting on you because they're going to poison you and kill you if you don't. I think an auto rifle or something with a deep magazine is best for this, and also kind of stay back as far as possible. That way you have more time to shoot the accident darts while they're on their way to you. Also, make sure you're staying on top of your countdown while you're on gaze. That way your gaze partner can steal his gaze from you before yours reaches 0. Because if it reaches 0, you'll die. Now, while all of this is going, you and your gaze partner there, you're switching gaze back and forth. There are going to be other orbs that spawn in the middle. There's 6 orbs in total. Each time that you guys are swapping gaze, the DPS team should be shooting the next orb so that they can move to the next pool and they can do DPS from that pool. If you're not in the pool, you do like 1/10 of your actual damage. So you want to make sure everybody's in the pool. Also, feel free to help them shoot the next orb while you're jumping across. It's not going to hurt. It only helps. While you're on the DPS team, you need to make sure you are looking out for a buff on your screen that says unstable light. Once you get unstable light, you kind of become a cursed thrall and you can kill your whole team if your timer reaches 0. So once you get unstable light, you want to make sure you're moving towards Golgoroth so you can actually blow up near him. The explosion won't kill you, but it will do damage to everything around you. So make sure you move towards Golgoroth, and that's extra DPS. And that's basically all there is to Golgoroth. Like I said, there's 6 orbs in there per damage phase, so you want to make sure you get through all 6 orbs. If you miss a few, there's going to be the totem right here. It's going to start glowing with however many you missed. You don't want to miss too many times because if you keep failing to capture his gaze, once that totem reaches 6 symbols glowing, it will wipe you. And that is pretty much it. So now we're going to make our way to the Daughters encounter next. But first, we have one more jumping puzzle. So now we're at the punch wall is what I guess we'll call it for YouTube. So if you want to just follow my route here, it's pretty safe. Whenever you see these things about to punch, you can just stand beside it, let it go. Or there's a few that you can actually bait if you kind of walk forward and then back up. But I kind of try not to mess with any of that. So if you just follow this pathway here, it's pretty easy. So here's the third and final secret chest. So you're going to jump over here, and if you're the first one here, these platforms actually won't be there. So what you're going to want to do is pull out your ghost and let the platforms materialize. Then you're going to be doing all this jumping that you see me doing now. So here's the third and final chest, and also here is symbol number 7. So I'm just going to turn that on, then turn it back off, because as you remember, or if you remember, the symbols that we need for this particular raid instance is 1, 6, and 9. They change every raid instance, so it won't always be the same. But we're going to pull out our ghosts, let these platforms materialize, and we're going to take the quick way to get out of here. So we're just going to jump over here. I'm trying to land on that bottom one that's sticking out the longest. Perfect. Then we jump up. We're going to go over here. Watch out for that wall. Don't want it to punch you off. Go under, and then... So I don't know why I went down there, because I actually need to go back and then jump straight up. So you want to jump up there, and then up one more time. And then you're just going to jump across to that platform over there. Right there, super simple. Just want to watch out for the taken wall. You don't want it to knock you off. I just barely made it. And you're going to stand by this door until everybody gets here. This is symbol number 8, which is right above the door. And the last symbol will be as soon as we get into the daughter's room. So here is the 9th and final symbol that we actually need in order to get our free red border. So you see on the bottom left corner of the screen, it says the runes accept your offering. That means once we actually defeat orcs, there will be 2 chests. One chest will have a guaranteed red border weapon. Another will be the normal raid chest. So the way this encounter works is you have 4 plates, L1, R1, L2, R2. L2 and R2 are the ones in the back. L1 and R1 are the ones right here at front where we are now. The knight is the one that was on R1. So the way you start the encounter, you either get too close to that knight that's on that plate, or you kill that knight. Then the person who is assigned to that plate, they're going to get up on it while it's glowing green. Once they kill the knight, someone's going to become torn between dimensions. It's at random, so if you happen to be the person that's torn, you're going to run to the plate that everybody says started at. So in this instance, it was R1. And then you're going to look up, see where Tolan is. In this case, it was L2. So L2, they get on their plate. Once both people are on the plates, there are going to be platforms that spawn up above, and you can see them up there. Only the torn between dimensions person can actually stand on the platforms. You're going to do that running sequence 3 times, and on the 3rd time, the person who's actually up there, they're going to be able to hold X to still pick up like a brand claimer, and they're going to go to one of these daughters. I like to do the one that's shooting at us. You're going to hold X to steal her aura of unraveling, which makes everybody immune. You're going to drop down here below the other daughter, and this is where you do DPS from. Now, if you can't one phase her, make sure that the next time you do DPS that you actually do the other daughter. You don't want to do the same one twice in a row because you will wipe. So if you can't finish her off, just get her as low as possible. Then come do the other daughter, get her as low as possible. Don't kill her now. Then you go back, kill the first one, then you kill the second one. And that should be the end of the encounter for you. Oh, and another thing, while your runners are actually doing their run, make sure you're taking care of the taken snipers that are spawning just outside of the plates. So that encounter was simple enough. Now it's time for Oryx, the final encounter. Pretty much the same, but now while everybody's doing their running, there are going to be ogres that spawn and knights. So once you kill the ogres that spawn in that corner, there's going to be a knight that spawns in the opposite corner. So this is where the knight spawns. I just showed you the ogre. And I'm going to go to the 2s and show you where the ogres and knights spawn. So that's your first ogre. That's your knight. You get ogre in that corner, knight over there. So the ogres are always going to spawn in between the plate and the daughter's platforms. Once the ogres spawn, you want to kill them immediately so that they don't actually move from their spawn location, because they're going to drop bombs that you're going to need to detonate in order to do damage on orcs. And you don't want them to move out of their location because you don't want to accidentally step into that bomb. Also, as soon as you kill the ogre, that's when the knight will spawn diagonal from where you killed the ogre, and it's going to be coming for your bomb. So you need to take care of your ogre and then take care of your knight so that the knight doesn't come and eat your bomb. So the Oryx encounter starts off pretty simple. You just have these few ads that spawn back here, which I messed up my grenade. You kill these guys. Once you're done killing all of these ads, there should be taken knights that spawn on each plate. You're going to kill all 4 knights, and once you kill them, Oryx is then going to pick a side, and then he's going to pick a plate on that side. So I believe in this instant, he's going to the left first, and then he's going to come all the way back to L1. Once he gets to that plate, he's going to slam it. When he picks his hand up, the plate will be glowing green, and that's how you know that's the first plate. Once he picks his hand up, I'm going to stand on it, and then I'm going to look around to see where Toland is. So Toland was over there above L2, so I tell L2 to get on. That person gets on. The person who is torn between dimensions, they come to me, and then they're going to run on the platforms. Now, the reason the plate turned red there is because the person on R2 jumped on, because I think they misheard something. And so it turned red and then burned me and killed me. But we recovered. You kill the ogre there, so it spawned there immediately. And if you look over there, there's something spawning in that back right corner, or back left corner, sorry. That's where the knight's going to be. He took care of the knight for me, and now the other person, they're just going to be finishing their run. So this encounter is like Daughters in the sense that you have the 3 running sessions again, but this time the third person that's torn, once they get to the end, they're going to hold X, and then they're going to take that brand claimer down to the middle where there should be a knight that spawns. He's going to have an aura of immunity around him. You want to hold X to steal that from that knight, then kill the knight. And after you do that, everyone's going to be waiting around just outside of the bombs. And whenever Oryx calls upon the darkness, everyone's going to stand inside of the bomb until they see their name in the bottom left-hand corner of the screen. And it's going to say they detonated corrupted light. Once that happens, everybody comes to the middle, and they're going to stand within that aura of immunity, and that's where you do DPS. Now, after DPS is over, one of 2 things is going to happen. It's either going to be the Thunderdome, or it's going to be throwing bombs at you. In this instance, we got the Thunderdome. And that's where you see this little bubble kind of spawns at the beginning here. People are getting teleported in there one at a time, and there's a shade of Oryx in there. Once everybody is inside, there's going to be a countdown that goes. Once that countdown reaches 0, your team's going to wipe. So everybody who's in there, they need to be fighting to kill the Shade of Oryx as quickly as possible. And he kind of just comes in and then disappears. He'll come in and swing at you, then he'll disappear again. This time, as soon as I got in, he was right in my face, so I kind of hit him with Wither Horde, which is really good because that takes him down even when he's not actually in the room with you. As far as the bombs go, that didn't actually happen to us because we finished them pretty much this next damage phase, but there's going to be bombs that keep spawning around you. You need to make sure that you're constantly moving. Try maybe run in large circles, but don't run near a teammate because you could run into their bomb and they run into yours and it kill them. You can actually end the bombs encounter very quickly if you kill the 4 taken knights that spawn on these plates right here. As soon as you kill them, the bombs encounter will end. And that's about all there is to this encounter. So now you want to do your DPS one more time, or 2 more times if it is necessary. And once you get him down to that final bar, he's going to go up front, and there's going to be 2 more ogres that spawn. There's going to be one that spawns right here on the right, and then one that spawns on the left. You're going to wait until he calls upon darkness again, and you're going to have people stand in those so that they can detonate. The reason you're detonating is so that you can stagger Oryx and will give you more time to do DPS. So we stagger him, those 2 people are standing in, and then we finish Oryx off right here, right now. And boom, Oryx is dead, and here are your 2 chests up here. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you'd like to see more, please subscribe. Like I said, I have the Discord in the description if you need to get through this raid for your very first time. I will be doing it on Saturdays, so make sure you guys stop by, say hi. Thanks for watching. Peace.